And here we go. Uncle telling Link that the shortcut to Ganon is this way. I don't think he really knows where a shortcut to Ganon is.
I don't think so.
Although, I mean, to be fair, the shortcut to Ganon is that way if you use some major glitches and just jump straight to the Triforce room.
Yeah, but that's not what this tournament is. We're doing no major glitches, so we won't be seeing any of that today.
Yeah, far more interesting when you can't just automatically exploration glitch your way to the Triforce room.
And we have a Fire Rod today.
Fire Rod, definitely one of the easiest weapons to clear escape with. It kind of limits your farming potential for bombs a little bit, but it is very simple to use.
It is very simple. There are some magic pot drops. You know, it only takes 4 shots to kill the 4 required guards. But, you know, to your point, you do have to be careful still with trying to farm that 1 bomb.
But for anyone watching who may not be aware of it, there are 3 chests in the very back of the escape portion that are locked by either the Pegasus boots or a bomb. So we'll be likely seeing both of these runners trying to kill a couple extra enemies, just trying to get that bomb so they can check those now and not have to risk coming back for them later.
We have a blue mail to start. So early defense and early money so far. With this not being key sanity, to your point, Mentos, man, we will find the map and we will find the small key as the 2 dungeon items in Hyrule Castle. All dungeons still have their dungeon items within them, but randomized. So we will be looking for those 2, and then everything else will be randomized items.
As a shout out to the blue mail start, neither of these runners really need the blue mail to complete a run, but getting it in the first little bit here is wonderfully helpful. We do find that map you were mentioning in the boomerang room, so we won't be finding that here. We know there are going to be 3 items in that back of escape that's locked by a bomb, so we will have to be on the lookout for that.
We also know that there is a locked door in the sewers, so seeing the piece of heart in the chest in Zelda's cell means that that sewer chest has to have the small key.
Yep, and dataworld was an unlucky miss shot on the green guard there, followed by hitting him with a second shot. He's only got really 1 shot to play with because he needs the other one for the key rat at the end of escape.
Now there are some magic pots right behind the throne room in that first dark room of the sewers. If either of the runners know that that's there, they can certainly use that to try to refill some of their magic.
Yeah, it's a little bit out of the way and you hate to do it, but sometimes it's worth it. If it's the difference between getting a bomb and not, you would rather take the time to do it.
And Data World using some of those pots, as Jenja is as well, to try to get some free shots, but so far nothing.
Yep, guards got nothing in their drop pool so far that's interesting. They got 1 small magic drop, some arrows that they can't use, and that's all they've really seen from them. Now heading into the dark here. Going through this in standard, you're going to have a light cone, because otherwise you'd have to put the lamp in the first, 4 chests, and that would be pretty boring. But you're going to have that light cone when you come back here no matter what. All the other dark rooms are going to be dark till you find the lamp.
And Data World trying to farm for that bomb, no luck. There is another magic pot in the flooded portion of the sewers, so he's not completely hung out to dry at this point.
If in worst case scenario, he could always do a save and quit. It would put him back at the mantle with, I believe it's 2 shots worth of magic. So there is that fallback, but ends up he's not going to get the bomb. Neither is Jenja. Jenja taking the time to shoot a bat, who I don't believe actually drop any items ever. So I don't know if that was intentional and he was not aware of that, or if it was just a misfire going for that rat. Either way though, these two are both going to be out of escape in a little bit under 6 minutes, which is quite a nice start. So usually you're aiming for around 6, that's including getting those back 3 chests, but 5:45-ish, not bad at all.
Yeah, but with not finding the bomb, they will have to come back for the back of escape. We got a map check. Vanilla red pendant at Hera, and then we have crystals at Eastern and Desert.
So not the ideal of 3 crystals in the light world, but 2 out of 3 ain't bad. Data riding on that half heart, you know, just kind of being extremely careful. Hey, there are some bombs.
Yeah, hey, the seed's like, hey, I didn't give you any bombs, now here's some. Here's also a hammer to start in the Lost Woods.
So with both of these two not getting a bomb early, it doesn't really matter. But they're both going to be hoping to find a power glove somewhere so they can drop right back into the back of escape and not have to walk all the way back through.
Yeah, and that back of escape is still in logic. The way the randomizer logic works there in standard mode, the randomizer assumes you can farm bombs, which means that back of escape is in logic. And if you don't have to your point, if you don't have the power glove, you gotta go the long way.
It's really the only reason why everyone spends so much time farming bombs on the way through. Otherwise, you could just, you know, wait out that power glove, drop right back in there, and it would be barely a time loss over taking the time to farm.
But there's more bombs that the seed held out on us on. And a bottle of Mountain Dew in the Blinds hut.
Bottle is real nice. It lets you check Sick Kid while you're up here. Back chest, arrow upgrade, a lot less nice. Although I will say, finding the capacity upgrades during these early item-rich locations is actually pretty nice because it gives you time to build up your inventory before you get the items to use that inventory.
Yeah. Ooh, we got a nice rod.
Well, TR is going to be a pendant. Oh.
Oh, and there's a moving pearl. We got 2/3 of our Dark World access. And another bottle with a B-torp.
Now, if it's a gold bee, they could sell that to the bottle vendor right outside for a quick $100 extra. They've already got quite a bit, but they're going to need more for Zora eventually.
The bottle vendor just giving a 20% return on investment.
He's trying to give life lessons like the Great King himself, but he's not quite learned yet. Also, a bomb for 10 arrows is one of the worst trades I have seen.
Yeah, to the point you were saying earlier about capacity upgrades. Sick Kid with the blue meringue. I like to at least see a 5-bomb upgrade, because if you have to buy bombs when you've only got like 1 bomb left, or like 2 or 3, you end up wasting some of the ones you buy. So at least if you get to the 15 capacity, if you feel like you need to buy bombs, you still get the full 10.
Very true, and Data deciding that 4 bombs is enough for him right now, Jenja deciding the same. That's not a bad choice. They got the hammer for Mini Moldorm Cave when it comes down to it. Hammer's not ideal for Mini Moldorms, but it works.
And with just a piece of heart in the race game, you're going to save a bomb not blowing up that wall.
Now, they haven't really gotten anything that gives them a specific place to go, so we are seeing Data do the, so to speak, standard route of heading right down to the South Shore from here.
Yeah, we were talking before the race if we were hoping for rich seed to start, but I mean, it's rich in terms of monetary value, but in terms of item progression, not so much.
I'm just waiting for that glove in the back of Escape, making them walk all the way back through for their Dark World access after they've checked everything else.
Which is going to be... It's going to put both of the runners feeling like they're behind if they have to do back of Escape the long way. But in reality, since neither of them found it, it's going to be kind of neck and neck.
Yeah, speaking from experience as a runner, if you don't get bombs in the back of Escape, you're kind of concerned. But if you did a decent amount of farming, didn't find them, and then you find the glove back there when you go the long way, you're like, okay, I'm fine. We're good right now.
Yeah, the drop tables for both of the runners when a seed is generated, I believe, are the same. So usually, like, if you did a decent amount of farming and you couldn't find a bomb, chances are your opponent didn't find it either.
Shoutouts to Data for going for the very, very rough hammer strats on these Moldorms instead of using that green potion to just get them for free with Fire Rod.
Jenja is going to use the hammer strats as well, and going to try to get a 2-for-1 shot. We're already at red mail, 12 minutes in.
All the safety in the world.
And there's that money for Zora.
Bomb strats did not go great for Jenja, but he gets the hammer out and gets the last mini Moldorm pretty quickly at that point. So Data is heading over to Ice Rod Cave. I would not be surprised afterwards to see a fake flipper up to the Waterfall Ferry and Zora, with having this much money and also having the Moon Pearl so you can do the water walk.
Usually these bush not the bush crabs, these crabs on green mail do 2 hearts of damage and can be pretty lethal. Here with red mail, just half a heart. You're no problems today.
Yeah, you can see Data being a little bit cautious around them, and then he gets hit by one, and it's like, oh, that's right. I got red mail. I'm fine.
And with Data World walking out, we probably will be seeing a fake flipper, as you were mentioning earlier. Normally, if you aren't going to do that, you would just save and quit here. And most likely head for Eastern Palace, because we have no real other progression at this point.
Yep, it is worth noting that Zora himself is a sequence break. Since they don't have the glove or the flippers, they have no logical access up there. That doesn't mean that he's not going to have anything of value.
Now, that isn't a way to line up fake flipper that I have not seen before, where you grab the bush. We have a fighter sword on Lake Hylia Island.
Yeah, that setup is a take on the NMG setup. In NMG, of course, they slash the bush, but you can do the same thing by just picking it up there and then holding up and right. It's just a little bit tighter on how long you have to press up and right, if I recall.
I see. Very interesting. Normally, you see people just try to line it up manually with the sword, as you're saying. I've also seen people bomb themselves, because if you get bombed into a transition screen, it won't actually transition until you press the button. So you then would be lined up perfectly for the fake flipper.
There's also the rare occasions where you can bonk your way into a lineup. Like if you're trying to turn the mushroom in using the portal south of Link's house, that's a very easy way to do it. So now, because we have the Moon Pearl, when Data World swims out of this cave, the game's going to skip checking if he's in the water or not for some reason, and boom, he's walking.
Such is the way of 25-year-old Japanese version 1.0 games.
Indeed, this game is ridiculously resilient. It is very hard to actually crash it, but there are a lot of things that just don't really make a whole lot of sense why they work.
Alright, but as always, good King Zora has a lesson for our runners today, and we are about to find out what that lesson is.
Come on, single rupee.
Nope, it is a life lesson for a 10 arrow capacity upgrade.
And Data says, that is not worth the time to hold up above my head. I'm just leaving. Now we head over to Eastern Palace. The Husserl's hut has 3 more items. The Eastern Palace itself has 2 to 3, depending on willingness to sequence break, and also item allocation in terms of Armos. But they're at least going to get likely 2 items out of there, since I'm pretty confident neither of these 2 will have issues with Eastern Palace Dark Rooms.
Alright. First up is the 3 items in Sahasola's closet. Power glove and a cane.
Both very nice. Interestingly, we're very, very close to having T-Rock access at this point. Another glove, a hookshot or a mirror, and a medallion, and a sword. I mean, that's still 4 items, but the seed is definitely given a lot of stuff that is T-Rock required early.
And now we're finally gonna, well, 17 minutes in, we're gonna see what was in that back of escape that both runners bypassed. Half magic, that's good. Piece of heart, and Quake medallion, yep.
Hey, Quake! So, the thing I was saying about a lot of items required for T-Rock pretty early. That could be another one.
But that is Dark World access, and Data World is on his way to, I would imagine, Hype Cave from here.
Yeah, this is my preferred Dark World start, going right down to Hype Cave, getting these 5 items, doing this map check where we see pendants in Swamp and Ice, Swamp being blue, Ice being green. I missed the 5-6 crystals. I
know Pod was one of them. I didn't see what the other one was.
Thieves Town was the other one. Just caught it on the restream.
Alright, well, let's get that hype in for Hype Cave. 20 bucks to start. The cape, 5 bomb upgrade, 20 bucks, and triple bombs.
I mean, at least it paid you back for the bombs you spent. Gave you, you know, a little bonus. That's a plus, right?
I mean, the cape, maybe?
Yeah, cape with half magic is actually real nice to have because it is extremely good safety. But, nah, unless there's something on Bumper Cave or we're going to be forced into the ever-hated Aghanim on Fighter Sword, the cape's not going to be super helpful for progression.
Stumpy only having a 5-arrow upgrade.
We are getting some divergence here. Jenja did not check the back of Escape, and he is headed to the Dark World up here by Village of Outcasts, not down by Hype Cave. Kind of a double bit of divergence.
I mean, at this point, until we see what Myron Turtle Rock is, we won't know if Quake is actually necessary, but Jenya gonna go ahead and head to Skullwoods as Dataworld finishes up his south path without the Titan's midst, can't get into Village of Outcasts, and probably going to be heading for the same portal that Jenya just went through.
Yep, and Chad making a good point here that I had missed. Jenya had no bombs after Sasrala's hut, so he actually skipped back of escape solely so he could go buy bombs, and then routed this in instead of having to make an extra walk over. That's actually really smooth routing.
Yes. Now that I missed that part, that totally makes sense. So far, just dungeon items in Skullwoods.
Yep, gonna do this bomb jump over to the big chest. A little bit harder when you don't have a sword or boots. That looks good to me, although I'm unfamiliar with Jenya's sprite. Yep.
And another dungeon item. So at
now,
this point... Oh, sorry. I was going to say real quick, at this point, because there has to be a key in the pinball room to prevent a soft lock. Well, no, we can get... There are still 2 items left. There's the one here in the big key chest. And then you could go back to Mothula and check the chest back there. But without a sword, you can't actually go to Mothula. Hey, Jenya, you got the Cane of Samaria. You don't need the statue.
And you mentioned what I was going to bring up of they could go to the back of Skullwoods for the chest back there. But if this is not a small key, it is. So that chest is guaranteed to have an item, which makes it a very interesting proposition to go grab that.
It also means that Mothula will have an item when you kill Mothula. And Jenya's saying nope to that.
If he would have had to refill his magic to go further on, but I don't blame him for skipping it. Sometimes that can bite you, sometimes you get your first sword back there, but...
Sometimes you find drugs in Village of Outcasts.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable, to be honest. Jenya not making his way over to Bumper Cave. He doesn't have that cape yet, so he wouldn't be able to get it anyway, but we won't be seeing that just yet. And we get our dive into Thieves' Town. With the hammer in hand, we can full clear this entire dungeon. So, makes perfect sense to be jumping in here. This is usually the first dungeon you do in the Dark World.
Yeah, you've got the hammer for the big chest if needed. You've got Cane of Samaria, and cape and hammer. So you got plenty of options to take care of blind. So should be no problem for both of the runners.
Blind, of course, being the only boss in this game that doesn't take more damage to stronger weapons. It's 3 hits per phase, no matter what you use. But the front of Thieves' Town had 3 bombs and a whole lot of dungeon items.
And one of those was not the small key, so we are either going to see the small key in the maiden cell or in the attic. Otherwise, it is locked in the big chest.
It actually can't be in the attic, so the attic will be an item.
Okay, I didn't know that it couldn't be in the attic, but that makes sense.
Yeah, there's some weird pathing you can do through the dungeon that would lead to some issues. Like, if you had taken that small key down there, gone to the big chest with it, you wouldn't have access to the attic to get the replacement small key.
Right, which is why, which explains why when I've heard some commentators say that, if the Thieves Town small key is in the big chest that the hammer was required to complete Thieves Town, that would be why. Because then at that point, you need the hammer to open up the big chest to get the small key to route your way back up here.
You got it, sir.
See, that is where in Randomizer, the developers had to, you have to code this assuming that the runners don't know what they're doing and have to use the keys in all the wrong ways possible.
Of course, that necessity is what has led Pod to be such a nightmare throughout development of the randomizer, although it's now stable. There are no soft locks currently, at least outside of Key Sanity, so they finally made that, long trek work.
And speaking of small keys, there is that small key.
Now get check the Thieves Town big chest, a chest that has bitten many a runner many of time diving in here without hammer, but these two have the hammer, and they got $20 for it.
Actually, so far, Thieves Town has been pretty much a bust, but there is still an item on blind.
Yep, either blind will have something, or this was nothing but a crystal, which, you still need to do it for a crystal. This is not a dungeon that changes by go mode, but you always feel a little bit bad when you go all the way through a dungeon and get nothing.
And we're going to see Kana Samaria strats from dataworld on blind. Usually you just detonate the blocks. You don't throw them at blind, though.
Yeah, that's a strategy that I hadn't actually seen before. It works just as well, really, but... Now, interesting quirk of the blind boss fight. The fireballs that are spat out by the heads do 1 heart regardless of male. Blind himself and the heads only do male-dependent damage. So you're better off getting hit by blind than the fireballs.
And just another big 20 and the first crystal of the game, 27 minutes in.
And shoutouts for that fight. It wasn't the cleanest cane strats I've ever seen, but blind is a lot harder to fight with the cane than runners make it look.
All right, now Data World has gone south already, or did the south route, so it makes sense that he's going to head north. And with that cape, we will see what is on the bumper cave.
This could potentially redeem Hype Cave.
My guess is it won't. Yeah,
you would be right.
Fisher Price, my first shield.
That level 1 shield is pretty much useless. Level 2 is actually valuable in some spots, but level 1 really never helps you. Now Dataworld taking his turn into Skull Woods, which Jenja already checked. Just gotta see if he's going to consider going to the back of the dungeon now that he knows that Dark World is pretty much empty so far.
Yeah. You could get to Death Mountain, but it would be a sequence break because you don't have the lamp to ascend the mountain. And realistically, there's Eastern, there's a Guinness Cave, and Pod, and that's about it.
And all those locations do like to have their progression, but while you're right here, it really isn't a bad idea to go check that chest under a bridge in the back of Skull Woods and see what you get. I guess also worth noting that I have a history with that chest in my own tournament matches, and I kind of hate it. So I'm hoping they check it so they don't fall prey to the same fate as I did.
We shall certainly see what Data World decides to do. Jenja, meanwhile, is now going the south route, and will probably end up at Hype Cave and picking up his cape.
Data having that block just out of place and having to wait for the wall master to go away to be able to do anything.
Data World getting wall mastered. And looks like he's gonna go check that chest you do not like at all.
This could be a very big moment that I've seen a lot of times where it has forced you to go into the back of Skullwoods without a sword, so I'm not surprised when I see progression there anymore. Meanwhile, Jenja heading to Hype Cave, gonna get his cave and be like, I wish I had checked Bumper Cave while I was up there so I knew if it was worth anything.
Alright, moment of truth. The chest under the bridge is for a piece of chivalry.
Delayed hype, maybe.
Yo, dog, I heard you like fetch quests, so I put a fetch quest in your fetch quest, so you can fetch quest while you fetch quest.
Data heading right over here to go turn that shovel in, which, given that going to the back of Skullwoods like that isn't the most common thing, you want to press that advantage and see what that shovel has.
Alright, so we, round 2, did this have any value? Strike the earth, it's just a piece of heart.
We're about to see what's on the pyramid ledge, which is one of those locations that, because you don't have flute, you tend to check because it's right in the way instead of being kind of out of the way. And it also is a vanilla piece of heart.
Data World gonna go ahead and do Eastern Palace.
I like this routing from both of them. Jenja doing Pyramid, Catfish, and then probably into Pod. Data World, meanwhile, doing Eastern, and then probably into Pod. Both of which could be good decisions. Worth noting that if Data World finds anything in here, it has been available since the very start of the game. And so he's really going to be kind of half hoping that he doesn't find anything super meaningful in here.
Yeah, I would say a 5 bomb upgrade is not all that meaningful right now. And Catfish being Catfish with just a piece of heart.
And Jenja saving and quitting, he's gonna go to the back of Escape right now. I'm actually surprised that he managed to kind of confidently do something like the Pyramid into Catfish check before checking back of Escape. A lot of people get very worried about that and are put off at the idea of not checking it immediately.
Yeah, but at the same time, you know, given the routing that he did from Thieves Town and going all through the Dark World from there, you know, realistically, there wasn't going to be a better time to do Pyramid and Catfish that wouldn't have just put it more out of the way. So, you know, I can certainly see why he did the play that he did. So, all right. So Eastern so far logically did not have anything. There could be an item in the vanilla big key chest, but because it's behind the dark room, it won't be in logic.
Yep, even the very easy, comparably dark rooms here in Eastern Palace are not involved in logic. Logic is never going to force you to do a room blind. Worth noting that Jenja is right behind entering into Eastern here, and he has checked a couple more things that are pretty out of the way. But there's item number 3 from Eastern, 20 bucks.
So, as you were saying earlier, with all of this being available from the word go, it's actually probably a relief to the runners that there wasn't anything in here and that it's been holding out. But now we're gonna see Pod, as you were saying earlier.
In before Bow locked first chest by progression that leads to the bow about 30 minutes from now. Interesting, they do have a potion, so they will be able to do the potion glitch if they choose.
But at this point, there really isn't much of anything else the brothers can check other than here in Aegina's cave. You could check Death Mountain, but that's a sequence break. So, I mean, in terms of this progression the seed is intending to give you, it's going to be in one of those 2 locations.
I'm very curious. Data was running into things intentionally left and right. Where is he setting up a Death Warp from?
I was gonna, well, chat reminded me that we still haven't done mushrooms, so that is one check that we could do. So, but you don't have the mirror, so you can't, if you're gonna do a death, oh, he's hoping that if this is a small key, which it is, now he's gonna death warp himself back, as opposed to having to walk all the way back. That's actually very smart on him.
I mean, I guess it's slightly faster with the red mail, all that time taken walking into enemies, taking the knockback. I don't know if he actually saved a significant amount of time by the end of that. With a lower level mail, maybe, but with red mail, he had to take a lot of hits to get that little bit of a time save from walking. Jenja saved and quit out of Eastern. He is headed back to the Dark World, maybe gonna walk the pod this way.
Ooh, there's a flute. Toot, toot, there's the flute. And now we got Death Mountain access.
Still only 2 items up there, so they're gonna be hoping for a little bit more than just that flute, but... just give him a mirror and flippers, so they can go get that sword off of Hylia Island, and then go into T-Rock.
And Data World is doing that potion glitch you mentioned. Got it done. Gonna walk the red mimic off screen, take the green mimics with them, and there you go.
This is one of those things that is both a benefit and sometimes not, just because you get to check these extra chests, but they can't have the bows, so that's kind of a downside. 2 keys over here, which I believe means the entire back of this dungeon is logically bow locked.
Yes. Because there was only the 1 small key that pretty much you can only use until you get the bow. You can only use that small key on the front door, and with the flute being where it was, there wasn't another, and the compass being on the bridge, there wasn't another small key, so logically we are bow locked. So that hook shot we just found means that the bow is going to be somewhere in progression before anything found by the hook shot.
The hookshot is like the worst item to get there too, because it locks enough locations, and there are enough ways around most of the locations that it locks that you never quite can tell. That said, now when he goes up to Death Mountain, he's going to have the benefit of being able to clear out all of the stuff on Death Mountain in the Light World. Can't get to the Dark World without the mids, but can at least clear out all the Light World stuff.
Interesting using the cape to try to track yourself, because without a sword you can't track yourself that way by holding it out. But oh no, he's using the cape to avoid all the fireballs. I thought he was using it to, you know, use the puff to track himself.
Yeah, he got hit real hard walking into this room with the Kadongos and the fireballs, and was one hit away from death, so he went, nope, I'm playing it safe. Unfortunately, Dark Maze without a sword is actually exceptionally difficult to navigate. He did finally make it to the heart piece down there. Now trying to get up to the big chest. Big chest just holding the map. Now saving quitting to Sanctuary. Gonna go activate the flute and head straight up to Death Mountain, I'm sure.
Yeah, and with that sequence broken hook shot, Hera will certainly be available, even though it is a pendant, but so will be east side of Death Mountain. But ladies and... oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, of course, east side of Death Mountain is still technically a sequence break, and it's something that they'll be keeping in mind throughout.
And with the playing of the national Swag Duck anthem, the goose is loose.
Now going to immediately be waiting for the go-ahead to play the flute again, since you have a really annoying little break where you can't do so for a while.
Alright, so turning in the mushroom, but not saving before the flute means he won't be able to hard reset.
And who would want to?
Who would want to with those Titans mitts?
Now, of course, there is an opportunity where the powder is super trolly and hides something important, but you would not hard reset with the Titan's mitts regardless, so win-win.
Alright, but Data World is going to go ahead and head up to Death Mountain. Still doing it the sequence broken route. Dude! Oh, wait, no, he's got to go the other way to get the old man. Sorry, I went off screen and all of a sudden I see him in the dark. I'm like, dude, you got the flute, you can get up there. Oh, wait.
Hookshot, not the best item for navigating through here, but this is one of those caves that a lot of us do often enough where it's mostly just muscle memory.
Old man giving Data World some love.
Now we head up. No, he's gonna go straight over to East Death Mountain before checking the other item in logic. I would almost definitely have gone up to Spectacle Rock first, just because that's your progression. That's what might hold something that you actually need. This is all a sequence break that you aren't supposed to have yet.
But what's interesting about getting the Titan's mitts where we did, flute is still in logic, Titan's mitts are still in logic, so Meyer would be in logic. Bo could certainly be there, as it was in their first race. There's Ether Medallion and some literacy. All of this isn't out of logic, though.
And also the Arrow of Dreams that serves no purpose other than disappointment. It just to be clear, it's the Arrow of Bad Dreams.
Nice execution on the bomb jump to get across. But Titan's Mitts also opens up, would also open up Pendant Ice Palace. Oh wait, forget. A, you don't have flippers. B, it's Pendant Ice Palace. Was that the boots I just saw on the floating island?
I believe it was. I'm gonna kind of double check that on the restream here in a moment. Yep, that was the boots.
That's like the one time where I could have been just like, what are those? And it makes sense and not just be the standard meme that it is. Either way, there's a small key in Hera. We've got the fire rod from Uncle, so we've been able to do this coffee break room for the longest time.
Of course, I hope they don't have to, but no, it's required if you want this red pendant.
And dataworld is going to say nope to that and just walk right on out.
I agree wholeheartedly with that decision. Heading over to check Ether Tablet now. He can't get the item unless he gets the Master Sword, but he can at least see what's there.
And just another arrow capacity upgrade.
And still not checking Spectral Rock, which I can't agree with, but hey, it's the routing he's choosing. It's hopefully going to work out for him.
Well, here's the thing. You don't have Mirror, so if you do check Spectacle Rock, you're going to have to take the long way to do Spiral Cave. Here, it's not going to be as long of a walk to go back up and check Spectacle Rock.
See, I believe it's a little bit quicker to just, or to, I guess it's a really long path both ways now I think about it. So, yeah, I get where he's coming from. I just, it's still the one logical location up here, so I feel like it kind of takes a lot of priority. Hey, flips.
Sequence broke flippers.
The sequence break that gets you everything. This is actually a lot of good information for dataworld, though, because he knows that the flippers and that the bow can't be locked behind any of this stuff unless Mirror is in one of the locations that is available logically outside of Death Mountain, like the Mire Shed or the... well, at this point, that's mainly what else is available?
Yeah, because you can't even get into Mire without the hook shot or boots, and at this point, dataworld missed the trying to hook shot over the blocks. But
well, as well, you also need a sword to be able to use a medallion, so they can't even consider going into Mire even with the sequence break.
Yeah, and so, but the point I was trying to, you are correct on that. Let me not jump over that. But even still, if you had the sword to get across the chasm at the start of Mire, you need either the hook shot or the boots. And we know the boots are blocked by the mirror on the floating island. There's some blue goo in Super Bunny Cave. So Mire Shed is available. We still haven't seen Aegina's Cave. And that's realistically it.
Gonna see Hookshot Cave here, which has 4 items. First one's just $50, so that's not that fun.
And there's the mirror.
Okay, so bow is definitely not locked behind any of this stuff. There is no way to get up here without the bow, logically. Huh.
Because dataworld's about to pick up the boots from the floating island. So that
So at this point, I mean, Bo pretty much has to be in Myershed, right?
Or it could be in Agita's cave.
That's true.
But it is one of those 3 locations. I mean, that's all of this progression that we found locked by the hook shot being in the bow locked portion of pod, Bombos being needed for Turtle Rock.
Yeah, a lot of times when you do that potion glitch, you don't really get any information out of it. This time, Dataworld has gotten tons and tons of information.
All right, now we're going to see Spectacle Rock, which just has a green rupee.
I forgot Bo could have been there, but no, that was a blue rupee.
Nope, just $6 on and in Spectacle Rock.
Well, color me silly for thinking that was where there was going to be something on Death Mountain. That was the only place there wasn't anything.
And Data World gonna drink that blue potion to refill his magic to do a Spike Cave check.
And he's gonna just use the cape from the get-go, not worry about draining his magic, just going straight to the end here as fast as possible.
And there's a sword!
And he can go get the Master Sword immediately afterwards off of Lake Hylia Island if he wants.
Alright, so Bo, we assume at this point is either Agina's Cave or Myershed.
And chat bringing up one more possibility that I had forgotten existed, the Blacksmith and Purple Chest chain.
Oh, right, because the Titan's Mitts were with the mushroom. Silver arrows in the Bonk Rocks of Flanktuary. So yeah. Smith chain is also a possibility.
Dataworld was very conflicted, ends up checking neither Agina's Cave nor the, what's it called? Nor the King's Tomb. I hate to say it, but that's another location. No, Bo couldn't be there, never mind.
Nope.
Bombos could be there, though.
Yeah, but at this point, we know there's still an item on Mothula. You gotta beat Mothula for the crystal in Skullwoods. And Data World has checked Bumper Cave. I would probably... I can see why he's routing it this way. If maybe after Skullwoods you are in the Dark World, so you can just combo Graveyard Ledge into King's Tomb.
Yeah, it definitely works just as well. I think that was his moment of indecisiveness, was trying to decide how he wanted to route that location in. Now we get to go fight Mothula with the Fighter Sword. Because everyone loves Fighter Sword Mothula.
I detect a hint of sarcasm in your voice.
No, I would never do such a thing. That Gibdo had all the jukes. So that spin and these fire rod shots doing Master Sword damage, sorry.
No, I was just saying Mothula was being very cooperative there to start, but now he's being his usual trolley self and hanging around on the back of the room.
Yes, he is, and due to his glitchiness where he doesn't take damage if he bumps into a spike, that's really annoying.
But $50 for your troubles, and a crystal, and might we be getting a pedestal check?
I wouldn't be surprised to see so. And we do see Jenya back. And he's heading up to Pod, which inclines me to believe that he got the bow by not sequence breaking in there. So we're probably going to see that here.
Yeah, until we see his menu, we won't know what he's got. Because he was in Pod originally. So we have to assume he got the flute. But until we actually see his menu, we won't know what it was.
And it looks like our tracker has updated based on Jenya's tracker, and Bo and Bombos are both marked here, which would be no mode if we knew where those were.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to know if we knew those things?
I'm sure dataworld will be showing us soon enough, but you know, that would be nice to know where he needs to go.
Yep, and seeing his seeing that menu, also to your point, the tracker on his stream. So he's got Titan's Mid, so he did not sequence break this. So he's about to get his hook shot in the back of Pod, and then we shall see what else he has.
Yep, and once he goes up Death Mountain, he will be in go mode.
All right, Heart Container and Peg Cave.
Let's see, we get the hook shot back here. Well, we don't know what medallion Maya requires, but we have all three, never mind.
Okay, hold on. All right, sorry. I did see something else. But let's see what Jeremiah has, just 50 bucks. Jenja also has a sword. And one of them is on Lake Hylia Island. One of them is in Bonk Rocks. Both of those blocked by the hook shot. So there's a third sword we're gonna find here soon.
The other one dataworld got was actually in Spike Cave, which Jenya would have had access to without the hook shot.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed those two up. My bad.
Gary gives the bow.
Gary gives the D. Okay, so it was locked by the Titan's mitts.
Hey, there's another sword. It's not one that Jenya could have gotten, but there's another one. So if Bombos is over here, that could very easily be Go mode coming up very soon for dataworld. Quake on Meyer, he's got that one.
Dataworld is going to pick up that Master Sword and going to go ahead and do Desert Palace.
And we do at least know what he needs isn't here, because Jenya could not have gotten into Desert. Gotta be a little bit cautious here. He is pretty low on health in this dark room. Big key and doesn't check the back chests. That's an odd gamble. He got a small key on the torch, he got the big key in that chest there, and one of the two items from Desert in the map chest. So he had one more item he could have checked, and he just decided to walk away from a chest that was maybe a 5-second check.
I know none of you can see it, but I have a very puzzled look on my face. The only way I could even begin to think of a reason is you still haven't done a Genis Cave, so maybe you you're gambling that Mothula has the bombos for go mode, and then you route it the long way to then do a Genus Cave after that. But I just don't. Data World, why are you making me try to come up with this convoluted logic?
Either way, he's got bow and silver arrows for this Lambo fight, so this is going to be over nice and quick. 1, 2, 3, you're out.
At the old ball game.
And Jenja over here doing the world's slowest death warp with bombs and red mail. Feels bad, man. Either way, he can clear Pod while he's here. And I have to assume he'll be headed right up to Death Mountain, and like I mentioned earlier, that will be go mode for him.
There's Bombo, so 1 hour, 1 minute. Data World is in go mode.
Yep, and even knows where a third sword is, but it's just out of the way enough that I don't think he'll go grab it. I think it'll cost more time than it would save.
I know I said a sword was in Bonk Rocks erroneously when it was actually in Spike Cave. Silvers were in Bonk Rocks, right?
I believe that is correct, yes.
So, okay, so we're going to have an interesting setup here where we may see Master Sword Silverless from Data World, and maybe could end up seeing, or Master Sword Silvers and Tempered Sword Silverless from Jenja.
Trying to run through my head how exact and how quick it would be to nab that sword on the way back to Pod. I think it might be quick enough that he goes for it, but you could just flute over there instead of going that long route, so I kind of doubt it.
I mean, you would flute to 4, you would go through the portal, you then would swim to Dark Lake Hylia Island, and then flute to 5. Like, it'd probably be about 30 seconds to a minute of time.
And at that point, it's really not saving you anything on Ganon, so I don't think we'll see it. Unless he just really wants that to make Ganon and Trinex a little bit easier. Jenja started out going for the NMG hammer strats on Helmasaur, now going with arrow strats, which is a lot harder than it looks, but Helmasaur was being very friendly. To answer the question in chat on the timing of Master Sword Ganon, if I recall, it's about a minute difference if you get a clean Master Sword Ganon versus Tempered Sword, and that's about how long it would take to get that sword, probably. So you would really be looking at a net save of nothing there, even if you did everything perfectly getting that sword.
Now that Jenja has that hook shot heading back to Death Mountain, or this may be his first trip up Death Mountain, because it was only... No, he got the old man. Of course, this is his second trip. What am I thinking? Words. But all that was trying to get to the point that Jenja, now being here, will get all his basket of goodies on the east side of Death Mountain, and he probably will be in go mode at this point. And yeah, it's not technically go mode because we don't have the lamp, but with the caliber of runners we have the pleasure of watching in this top 64 bracket, they can handle dark rooms.
Yep, even the harder ones like Meyer here. Really the only dark rooms I see runners in this point in the tournament being concerned about are the Aghanim's dark rooms, because nobody practices those.
I mean, I on a whim, decided to practice it, and then I realized why I would never do it.
There is exactly one situation where it's super worth to know, and all the other times, it's usually not even worth bothering. It's a nice bonus for Jenja that he gets the Ether Medallion while he's up here, because if he had any doubts about his status of Go Mode, now he doesn't have to worry about medallions anymore. I'm sure he's already been to the Meyer area since he had Bombos, but if he didn't check for some reason, he's got 100% covered.
And now we're going to see Dataworld melt some eyeballs with the silver arrows. Very nice zero cycle.
Jenja seeing the boots on Spectacle and on the floating island, gonna go over here and open the T-Rock portal without having checked Spiral Cave. I'm trying to recall, Spiral Cave was Flipper, so he doesn't need to do that. He's probably gonna do T-Rock before touching it.
Well, he's gonna at least open it up. Dataworld floating to 4. He may be going for that sword upgrade.
Yep, it's like I said, it's not going to be a major time save if he's comfortable with Master Sword, but if he has any doubt about it, it will end up saving time.
And Jenja is going into Turtle Rock.
I don't blame him, it's not going to cost him a lot of time, but it is unfortunate for him that he didn't check everything on East Death Mountain before going in here. Shiny Jenja almost assuredly got his first sword at Spike Cave, which is where Dataworld got his first as well.
Second was on the desert ledge. Third one being on the Lake Hylia Island.
And fourth sword probably somewhere dumb.
Or Ganon's Tower.
Let's see, at this point, Data just has to clear Helmasaur. He's done everything else in pods, so he can go straight there. Mirror over, kill Armos. He's already gotten far enough to get the big key. And then head up to TR before heading over to Ganon's Tower. So he has a very, very decided advantage. I would say it's going to take a pretty drastic misstep on his part for Jenja to kind of get back in this race at this point. And big key in that Chain Chomp chest is what you want to see for Go Mode T-Rock, because it gives you the chance to skip Laser Bridge. So let's see. And there is a comment in chat about how the potion glitch pretty much cost Jenja the race up above. That's kind of likely the case, but that's the swing of sequence breaks. Sometimes you do them and they send you on wild goose chases throughout the entire world that are out of logic, and you end up getting a little bit lost with it. Sometimes it just so happens that there's one item that the bow is the item blocking everything you need, and that glitch ends up giving you a huge time save. So all things considered, yeah, it did have a huge impact on this race. And that happens sometimes. It's a risk you take not doing the sequence break versus the safety of less risk of getting led astray.
I mean, here's everything we found in East Death Mountain, both Light and Dark World. We found Ether Medallion, we found Book, we found Flippers, we found Boots, we found Mirror. Like, normally in Randomizer, you're lucky if you find 2 of those things in East Death Mountain. We found all of that. Like, it just was a lucky bounce.
Yep, I think everyone who runs this game has at some point said, that's rando. And this is one of those cases where that's the exact response Jenya will have when he sees how everything played out is, okay, yeah, I got randoed.
And as I'm like rattling off all that stuff that we found, 3 of those things are going to be useless. You don't need to go into Swamp House, so the flippers were useless, and there was no progression in the stuff we fake flippered anyway. Book, you didn't need. E3 didn't need. It was really just Hookshot led to Boots and Mirror in Hookshot Cave, and that ability to get the Mirror and the Boots, just the route gave so many more options in terms of routing for Data World.
Yep, and with Desert being boots locked, the book is nice, and one concern with Jenya is he might try to go to Desert with the book and hope it's not boots locked and guess he's in go mode. But knowing they're right there, he'll probably at least check Hookshot Cave.
Mm-hmm. Well, and like just now as I'm even thinking about, you know, what we're talking about with Desert, like think about the bow being at the lunchbox and not having the mirror meant Jenya had to do it the hard way with save and quit, where you go get Jeremiah, save and quit, then long way take him back to the blacksmith, then walk to the Dark World portal, get the lunchbox, save and quit, and then take the long walk to get the lunchbox to Gary. Data World, having found the mirror, just got to do it the easy way. So again, like it just the way the rando works.
Yep, and that is a good point about having to do that without the mirror. That's what the game actually wanted you to do. The purple chest locked the mirror. A lot of new players actually don't know that the mirror can be locked by purple chest, but yeah, that's what happened here.
Save and quit is totally in logic.
To mention to something in chat, Jenya saw the floating island while walking over the T-Rock, so he knows the boots are there. If he finds a mirror in Hookshot Cave, he would immediately go grab that. He's going through the ever-lovely Hammer Trinex fight, which is a fight that if you're trying to learn to race this game, I highly recommend learning because Rando makes you do it real often.
Usually the Argus fight with Hammer is referred to as Menu Simulator 2018. This is a menu simulator, but I don't know if I don't really know what version of Menu Simulator I'd want to call this.
If Argus is, you know, the newest version, this would probably be like version 1.0. It's very simple menuing, but still practicing of menuing.
That is true.
Having a little bit of trouble landing these phase 2 hammer hits here. It's getting close to being done with Trinex, though.
And there we go. That will be crystal number 4 for Jenya. Data World is at the same time heading into Turtle Rock, and that will be crystal number 6 or 7, my bad.
And I completely forgot to pay attention to the key layout in T-Rock after the big key, but if I'm remembering the early part right, there has to be a key before Crystal Roller Room, so Data World will be able to skip Laser Bridge.
I do remember there being a heart container in the vanilla big key chest, so...
And here is Jenya's mirror. He'll be able to go grab his boots, and then he'll be in go mode as well.
Well, while we have a moment, I would certainly say if you have enjoyed what you are seeing, be sure to give both Data World and Jenja23 a follow on Twitch. They have been putting on quite the show for us this morning. Also, be sure to follow our speed gaming channels 1 through 6, as well as the ALTTP randomizer channels 1 through 5. There is also a game that we like to play once we get to Gannis Tower that we're not starting yet. But in order to play that game, you need to either be subscribed as opposed to following one of the speed gaming channels, or have donated 250 bits to one of those speed gaming channels. Once Data World has finished Trinex, that is when we will be starting the game that we're not starting yet.
I guess since these two are also reworking over each other's paths, also worth a shout out that Speed Gaming is doing a live event, including a Link to the Past randomizer tournament in about 3 months' time. If you're interested in that, there is a page that can get linked in chat that has a bunch of information on what's going on. It's seeming like it's going to be a pretty fun event. It's going on late September, so worth looking into if you're interested.
Yes, there's a... You will basically have a... over the course of July and August, there will be a qualifier, and then the top 8 runners will be flown out to Reston, Virginia for this event, September 20th through 23rd. And you'll see me there because I live in Reston, Virginia, at least for 1 more week, and then I move after that tournament. But never mind that.
Now, Jenya going over to Desert, he started to check Super Bunny Cave and then walked back out, which inclines me to believe he didn't realize he was in go mode right away, and then went, oh, wait, no, I don't need to look at this. With 2 keys, Data World is going to be able to go down the bridge after the Dark Room, head straight into the Trinex room, and he will be fighting his final boss. Hey, Jenya's going to show us what's in this chest. And it was 3 bombs. Data World made the right choice. I'm still very confused by the choice, but it was the right one.
At that point, we needed Bo and Bombos. I guess maybe he knew... We're just gonna have to ask Data World. That's really just what it comes down to.
Yeah, pretty much. Meanwhile, he's having a much easier Trinex fight with that Tempered Sword. It's a little bit of lag ice sprayed on the ground, but knocks Trinex out very quickly.
Chad also pointing out he did have the bow going... Did he have the bow going into Desert?
Yeah, he got that from the purple chest before floating over to Meyer area and checking Desert.
It's been a wild race, and I can't remember everything, but I have stuff to do because there are 22 locations where that big key can be in the basement of Ganon's Tower. If you want to play in our game, you need to guess a number between 1 and 22 where you think that Ganon's Tower big key could be. Again, having subscribed to either 200 and subscribed to one of the Speed Gaming channels or donated 250 bits, but you better hurry up because we're almost Ganon's Tower. Mentos Man 8! What is your guess?
I will always guess 22, just to make everyone go through Ganon's Tower all the way. What about you? What do you look to guess?
I'm gonna go 7 today.
So, depending on routing, that's either, what? The torch, or into the double, or into the Stalfos room.
Either way, guesses are officially closed. Data World is going to start right side. Chest number 1, Butter Sword. Number 2, Small Key. So Data World is going to go right, finding a small key.
That Butter Sword just makes him feel pretty bad about having gone and got that Tempered Sword off Hylia Island.
Chucker27 donating us 250 bits the hard way with 100 each and then a whole bunch of ones.
So, going to head over to these 4 chests. It has become kind of the standard route of GT. You still see people do the quote-unquote old way, but this has become kind of the standard route, and it pays off this time with number 3.
Yes, chest number 3 is the big key. Data World gonna pick up a small key because you need at least one for the gauntlet, and then gonna mirror out and make his way to the gauntlet.
Yep, and if the gauntlet goes smooth, this will clock in a little bit under 130.
And the first sub-supporter to correctly guess number 3 was Larif. Congratulations.
Well done for being friendly and hoping for that early key. So yeah, there are definitely some things that can go wrong in Gauntlet, especially on our dear friend Moldorm 2. But a clean Gauntlet, usually, especially with butter and silver arrows, you're looking at about 6 to 7 minutes. So he's got a little bit left to go, but it's the stuff that he is most practiced with, I'm sure.
Alright. But from here, the randomization is done. You got Butter Sword, you got Silver Arrows, you got Red Mail. There's 4 chests that technically are randomized, but you ain't checking those chests. You're going straight for Ganon.
Unless you're really, really wanting a health refill at the end, you might check those chests for a heart piece chance. But other than that, yeah, nothing you want left. That red Zazak just gave Dataworld a little bit of trouble, but he took it down eventually.
Ooh, Dataworld's got to be careful with 2 hearts.
Yep, and he doesn't have that mushroom left, can't fake powder, doesn't have the actual powder. So this is getting kind of hairy for him.
He does have a blue potion that he drinks right now.
I did not realize he had that.
Excuse me. Raitola just gave us a tier 1 subscription, and that was for 2 months in a row. Thank you very much.
Good old wizard rooms. The best rooms in the game.
Never gets old seeing them after how many games of Randomizer I've watched.
Of course, it's followed up immediately with that bridge room, where sometimes those, sometimes those enemies just knock you off, and it's pretty much pure luck. Getting that second key off the mini Helmosaur, the reason why you only need one key to come up here, not two. Of course, there is the fringe chance when you do forget to grab a key that you just hope indefinitely for of a key in those three chests before Moldorm, but you don't want to rely on that chance.
And just like that, Trolldorm 2 is down. Dataworld leaving Trolldorm's last possession right where it belongs. You don't want to be a thief. No one likes to be a thief.
Dataworld, depending on how well he knows Jenya and how much... I don't know Jenya's style all that well. I don't know if he is prone to doing Potion Glitch or not. But if he's not prone to doing it, then Dataworld might feel pretty comfortably in the lead at this point.
Wow, that was an almost perfect setup for a triple hit, but gets only one. Doesn't get any there.
This is some hard geometry today. That would be the fifth hit. Nope, that's the fifth hit. There's
the sixth. And with that, Aga 2 is down, and it is time for the big pig.
Yep, and today we get to fight him as the developers intended, which is ridiculously simple with red mail, butter sword, and silver arrows. Just going to take 6 hits on phases 1 and 2, the necessary 4 hits on phase 3, and then 4 silver arrows on phase 4. And there's phase 1 done. Blinked and you missed it.
Blink and you're gonna miss phase 2, because there, it's done.
Dataworld grabbing some extra hits, you know, just to show Ganon who's boss, show him what's coming up next.
Especially because Ganon was so concerned about not standing so close to him. Dataworld's like, I'm gonna stand close to you.
There's the third hit on phase 3, just one more to go. There it is. And now 4 silver arrows, which should not be difficult to land.
Swing and a miss, though. Right as you say that.
Minor commentator's curse, but he gets a double right afterwards, so that works.
Just one more in the face, and that will be game. All right. Now just got to be careful about the treacherous 3-pixel bridge, and Dataworld will have the game and the match. And walking across that 3-pixel bridge, Dataworld finishes with an official SRTV time of 1 hour, 28 minutes, and 25 seconds. Spam those GGs in chat.
GG to Dataworld, and welcome to the round of the top 32. Data is one of the runners in this tournament that I have raced countless times, so I knew going into this that he would probably do pretty well. It's great to see him get as far as he has.
And joining us in chat is Dataworld. GG.
And GG.
How you feeling?
Pretty lucky. I think I got bailed out hard by the hook shot in the back of Pod. So
yeah,
that was pretty fortunate.
Yeah, Jenya's stream went down for a little bit, so we had to kind of piece it together. But what we're imagining happened was because you potion glitched, got the hook shot, that led you to getting Mirror and Boots a lot earlier than you were supposed to, which made doing the Smith chain a lot easier to get the bow.
Yeah, I since hook shot, Boots and Mirror were all bow locked. There were only a couple of places where it could be, so
I do have one question that Mentos Man and I are both really wanting to know the answer to. Why did you dip out of desert so early?
Oh, I thought I was in go mode. And then I saw my map, and Turtle Rock was red on my tracker. And I was like, this tracker is bugged. Why is this Turtle Rock red? And then I realized I still needed bombos, but luckily it was in Meyer shed, so I had it all along.
That would definitely explain it. That was a moment of like, wait, where are you going? You don't have the item yet.
But it was, we did see Jenja get that, and that was his triple bomb. So yeah, that did work out for you. But, yeah, overall, that was, the scene was very interesting. It just, you know, we were talking about it in chat, like, it just so happened that, you know, doing that potion glitch, you got the 5 items in, Death Mountain. You know, 2 of them only required for progression.
Yeah, I was pretty happy to find bombos, honestly, because Swamp and Ice were both open. And I still had a lot of things left to check if I didn't find bombos in Mire or Desert.
Certainly makes sense. I think the only other question I can think of was Back of Escape. You both had trouble finding a bomb. How hard were you sweating out Back of Escape having something?
Quite a bit. I was 1 drop into the snake pack, and I think 3 or 4 drops into the short sword pack. But if the snake pack or the red pad had a good drop, I figured Jenja would get it. That's also why I fake flippered so early, because I was hoping to maybe find the other glove and then pick up a glove. I was fearing a glove in the Back of Escape, and I fake flippered hoping to avoid the double dip, basically.
Yeah, I mean, it was very convenient that Sahasula's Closet had the cane and the power glove, because I distinctly remember when we were going over that at the beginning of the race, like, I was starting to think, like, these runners may have to do the long way back to the Back of Escape.
I apologize in advance if you watch it back for rooting for you to have to do the Back of Escape again.
No problem.
So with that win, you officially get into the round of 32. Any thoughts on your progress so far throughout the tournament?
Well, I'm pretty happy. Making brackets was pretty much my goal, so anything I do now is really a bonus, and we'll see how far I get. I think my next opponent is going to be Unfit, which is interesting. I've played in a couple of times in regular races, and it's always been very close, so that's also going to be a good one.
I really want to make an Unfit joke right now, but the thing is, we'll hope for a good match out of both of you.
I'm definitely looking forward to that matchup, having raced both of you multiple times. I'm expecting it to be quite a good one.
But,
oh yeah, and how about that red Zazak in the Gauntlet, who just did not want to get hit by your fire rod?
The one in the ice room?
Yep, that one exactly.
Yeah, the skeleton gave me a pretty bad pattern as well, I think, so oh well. I got him in the end, and I didn't even have to use my potion yet. It was fine. It was pretty slow, but it was fine. Ooh. Jenja almost accidentally YBAing.
I think that would be the first if I saw that happen in a tournament race. I don't think I've seen anyone accidentally YBA yet.
I didn't do it in a tourney. I did it in a casual race once.
All right, I'm gonna play the ignorant person. What exactly does YBA mean? I get it's 3 buttons, but what specifically is that?
Do you want to explain, Mentos?
Sure, I can. YBA stands for, if I recall, it's Yuzuhara's Bottle Adventure. It's when you use a potion on the same frame you walk through a door, and it has crazy effects depending on which type of potion you use. You get different effects that are used in a lot of major glitch stuff to do some really weird things.
Okay.
Yeah, the one time I did it, it was in the room after, or in the Lamolas 2 room, and it basically fluted me all the way outside Ganon's Tower. So that's always fun in the race.
Yeah, yeah, and by fun you mean totally not.
Yeah.
So I guess I was wrong, because I heard YBA, and I'm just like, what, do you press like YBA at the same time or something?
Nope, just an acronym that happens to have the same letters as 3 of the buttons on the controller, which does make it very easy to get confused when you don't know what's going on with it. Jenja, coming up to Trolldorm 2. I'm curious where the last couple of things that we didn't see were. I'm just gonna go ahead and guess everything else was in Swamp.
Well, the thing I'm mainly curious about is the lamp, but I guess we'll never know.
Yep.
I'm trying to think. I don't think very much was locked behind a dark room, so lamp could be pretty much anywhere, I think.
Yeah, I think nothing, so it can be in ice, in swamp, catfish, that kind of thing.
Could be the second item in Hera that you wisely decided to skip out on.
I think catfish was a piece of heart. Alright, Geometry Wars time for Jenja.
Does get that intro triple.
And nice double. And that's it. Jenja's into the big pig.
3, 2, 1 is one of the best patterns you can hope for. Had a little bit easier time than you did, Data. Naga was not very friendly to you there.
Well, we got the same pattern, so Jenja is just better at Aga, I think.
I was going to kind of parlay that into, were you feeling a little bit nervous that he might be right on your tail, or was that just kind of some rough luck with dealing with them?
Well, I think the optimal round in the seed was probably 10 minutes faster than my time, so... I was pretty nervous going up in GT, but I also figured, like, if Jenja maybe mistook the logic and didn't realize, maybe he potion glitched, didn't realize it was bow locked, he could be all the way in swamp as well, so I basically just hoped I was good.
Actually, you reminded me of another question I was going to ask you about, because we were positing back and forth of would you go back to Lake Hylia Island to get the sword to make sure you had tempered, and we saw you do that. Jenja didn't. He got his tempered sword in GT. So were you not as comfortable with doing Master Sword?
I guess I feel like it's pretty close. Picking up the sword is probably 40 seconds, I think. And Master Sword spins Ganon is it can be kind of dicey. I guess we had the cape, so it wasn't too bad. But given that we also had no lamp for the torch glitch, I just erred on the side of caution.
That makes sense. But Jenja is into phase 4. Unfortunately, did not pick up the silver arrows from the Bonk Rock, so gonna have to do silverless.
Silverless with only Fire Rod as an option can be kind of worrisome sometimes. With half magic, not really so much.
I did see Jenja when he was drinking the blue potion. He still has his green one, though.
Fire Rod is honestly the optimal way to do the fight because it sets up for triples, but it's just a lot less margin for error if you don't have that half magic.
When you accidentally freeze Ganon in the process.
He's doing quite well with all these Fire Rod shots and silverless hits, though. 2-frame window, not so worrisome when you have a spin that lasts for a lot longer than 2 frames.
And Jenja has Ganon down.
And he heads through the door, finishing with an official time of 1:41:22.
GG's to Jenja.
Still a quite good time. He got a little bit unlucky that his opponent, Data got such a huge benefit from that potion glitch, but...
We have Jenja in chat, GG.
Yo, what's up, GG?
How you feeling?
Pretty bad. No, I don't know. I mean, obviously not good if you just lost, but I don't know. It just.
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of assume. I just heard potion glitch. That's what I figured. What completely owned me in this case. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we unfortunately you lost internet connection when I think you went into pod the first time to get the flute, and we didn't see you until you were coming back into pod with Bo and Bombos. I'm guessing.
Oh yeah, I think my connection just dropped for like a second, but I think because of the 15-minute delay, it just dropped I think it dropped for like 15 minutes probably, right? Like.
Yeah.
Oh, that's super unfortunate. I'm sorry. It's a bit stupid because of the delay that it gets lost to complete like 15 minutes. Then, because my internet was just gone for that. I don't know why it was just like gone for just like a minute or so, and not even. But yeah, essentially I just went in, got the fluid, went out, and then.
I'm guessing what we missed while it was down. I'm guessing you had to do the Smith chain the long way for the bow without the mirror.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That was the last chest for me, the purple chest.
Yeah, and see, because dataworld did the potion glitch, got the hook shot. He went up to Death Mountain, got the mirror, so that when he did his Smith chain, he was able to do it, at the quick way with the mirror, and that, the potion glitch and the way the mirror was placed is kind of that was what made the difference.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, pretty unfortunate. I don't know.
It was kind of great when your stream did come back. The 2 items you had that we hadn't seen yet were Bow and Bombos, which were the 2 items that Data needed for Go mode after that trip to Death Mountain. So it's like, oh, there's he has the stuff we need. We don't know where he got it, but he's got it.
Oh well, I don't know. Don't really know what to say about this. It's like I got owned pretty badly for sequence breaking the past 2 races, or the last 2 races that I lost. And I don't know, probably should have done it, should have potioned it as well. It just didn't cross my mind at that point. I don't know. I don't know why actually.
I was saying earlier, sometimes it's kind of just luck of the draw. You decide not to sequence break, it hurts you. You decide to sequence break, it hurts you. And then sometimes it really pays off, and you just made the wrong of the 2 choices.
Yeah, that's random, I guess.
But unfortunately, with the 2 losses, that's going to put you out of the tournament, Jenya. But GG's, congrats on making at least to the round of 64. 64 out of the 512 to enter this tournament. You can at least take some solace in that.
Oh yeah, I'm totally fine with how this went. Looking forward to the next tournament for sure. Despite all the salt that comes with losing, it's still in the end you're still like, yeah, okay, let's do this again. You know, let's give it another go.
Okay, we certainly enjoyed having you in the tournament, Jenya, and certainly enjoyed watching your race. So GG's to you.
Thank you guys for surely amazing commentary and tracking, and best of luck to dataworld.
Thank you.
All right. Well, Mentos man, any final thoughts?
I just wanted to say, you know, these two both played phenomenally. Like we were just saying, you know, Jenya kind of got unlucky with the choice not to sequence break pod versus sequence breaking it, but they both played fantastically. So if you enjoyed what you were seeing, drop these guys a follow, check them out when they're doing SRL races or just playing the game at random. They'll be a good watch whenever you watch them.
Absolutely. And if you have not had your fix of Rando, which of course you haven't, we certainly have more on tap for you. We have 2 back-to-back races that are going to be starting in about 35 minutes. We have I'm Hublis versus Layra GG on Speed Gaming 3. Blast Egg and Sabotender will get you started there on race number 1. And then on Speed Gaming 4 at the same time, Blaine versus Lunchtime ATH will be starting their back-to-back race, and Arior and Tulane will get you going on that one. At 2:30, we have Game 3 of Elminster RTA versus Dat Lost It. Or actually, that's Game 1. And then after that, they're going to do their back-to-back as well. At 2:30, that'll be on Speed Gaming 2. And then on the ALTTP Randomizer channel, we'll have a back-to-back of Tulane versus McLagan. So be sure to stick around on the Speed Gaming channels today. We are going to have 4 back-to-back races going on. And with that, once the first race is over, the second race starts. So don't go off of the time when the second race starts. Just go right, it'll start right after the first race finishes. But I think with that, we're going to wrap up shop here. Again, GG's to Jenya and dataworld. Be sure to give them follows on Twitch. Shout outs to our tracker Hansen for tracking all the items that both of these runners found. Shout outs to all the Speed Gaming staff for putting all of this together for us. Mentos Man 8, it was a pleasure co-commentating with you.
It's always a pleasure working with you as well.
And with that, have a good rest of your day, and we'll see you next mission.
Bye, everyone.